point I think we should make here, it's a good time to bring this up, is that you should get out of the comfort zone. I mean, when you're considering, okay, I'm having, I'm going to serve some shrimp cocktail. I'm going to put a block of cheese out. Maybe I'll have some scallops. So, what do I go for? Probably want to talk to the people at your wine shop. You want to look at, maybe research some episodes of That Food and Wine Show. But ideally, you want to get out of your comfort zone. You don't necessarily want to say, okay, I'm thinking a Chardonnay is going to be a good pairing with this, so I'm definitely going to go with a Chardonnay. And go with that every time. I mean, you really want to look at some alternatives, things that you haven't tried before, even if it doesn't work. Like in the case of the scallops here and this VIURA, might not have worked, but it wasn't a complete failure. I mean, I'm still very happy with it.
Absolutely. And if you're doing an event, you got some friends coming over, you're going to want a variety of foods, right? But you don't want necessarily a variety of wines. You want to keep it simple. One white, one red, maybe something sweet as well. But the more options you have, the more whites you have available, the more confused people are going to get. But this is a way, this wine, like I said, it works with both. It works better with the shrimp, in my opinion, and it works with all three. It works with cheese. That's a nice little spread to have for a cocktail hour.
Absolutely. Nice little spread to have for That Food and Wine Show. I'm glad we did it.
Absolutely.
Well,
very good, Larry.
I think that was great. Oh, you know what? I think I want to try one more thing. A little surprise on That Food and Wine Show. We broke out this. This is the sauce.
Oh, excellent.
And what is this here?
A little cocktail sauce. This is something you're always going to see at an event like that.
Right. So, if you're having a white wine and you've got shrimp cocktail, do you want to use the cocktail sauce when you've got your white wine to pair with it? Let's find out. A lot of horseradish in there, so it's pretty strong.
But I did my wine. It's refreshing. Oh, thanks, sir.
Yeah, sure. That's my job on That Food and Wine Show.
Can't taste the wine. I'm still tasting horseradish.
I'm going to disagree with you.
I'm
going to disagree.
Yeah?
Yeah, because basically what it does is it wiped all that. It wiped that harshness of the horseradish out of there. I'm not saying I would go to it again and again. I'm going to try it again just for the edification of our viewers here.
We're probably going to be the most hedonistic show on the internet.
Larry informed me that he's eating very healthy these days, but now that we're filming together on That Food and Wine Show, I seriously doubt that's going to be a long-term trend.
No way. In fact, I picked up some of that new Starbucks chocolate for our next tasting, which is going to be some red wine.
Is that a shameless plug? Are you on the payroll of Starbucks here?
That was a shameless plug. I'm going to expect that check in the mail.
Big coffee
Starbucks
money.
people. You Seattleites.
Yep. I'm not feeling the horseradish thing.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, the horseradish is gone. It's a lot better pairing, believe it or not. And I agree with you on the scallops. But I think it's very much like this. When you have a spicy dish, what are you going to pair it with? You're going to pair it with like a Riesling, a Gewürztraminer, something sweet that's going to cut the spice. In this case, this VIURA, for me, cuts the spice of the horseradish in this cocktail sauce.
But it's dry.
It's dry, but it's I don't know, it's refreshing. Like, washes it all away.
Sure.
It washes the badness away.
So, all right. So back to what I was saying about the scallops. It's not necessarily the best pairing, but it didn't necessarily offend it. To me, it kind of washed over the wine a little bit, but so did the scallops in that same regard. But it didn't create a nasty, minerally, chemically taste in my mouth, which sometimes a bad food pairing can do.
Right.
And what I often tell people too, and I'll say this many times, is even if you've got a bad food pairing, say you go out on a whim, you experiment with a new wine for a special dinner, and it doesn't necessarily work. Well, you're going to spend, 15, 20 minutes at actually eating the meal, maybe more if it's really a special dinner. You're going to spend the rest of the night having the wine, right? So go on the limb, be able to experiment, maybe keep a safety bottle in the refrigerator or in your wine cellar, but always know that even if it doesn't work out, you can always just enjoy it after the meal.
And chalk it up. Chalk it up as an experience, and then you'll know never to have scallops and VIURA again. But at least you made the effort. You tried it. It's like, you're never gonna know that you're not gonna burn your hand if you don't put your hand on the stove. Unless you put your hand on that stove.
And I would suggest too that VIURA might not necessarily be the problem here. I think if we went with a good example like Valserano Blanco, VIURA aged in new French oak, that's an incredible wine to have with scallops. So it's not necessarily the great varietal. This is just the producer here, and this is a little bit more of a value wine. So I'd like to maybe revisit this down the road and see if we can challenge ourselves to find a VIURA that would work better than the Scotch.
I think you brought up another great point, and I'm going to leave it at this, and we'll see if we can wrap it on this point. I get a lot of people who come to me and say, don't recommend a Chardonnay, I hate Chardonnay. But invariably, all they've ever had has been California Chardonnay, and even more so, they've only had one particular California Chardonnay. They've been a safe wine drinker or a rut drinker. So I tell people not to swear off Chardonnay because Chardonnay can vary so much from producer to producer, from vintage to vintage. The way it's, the style in which it's made. I would never swear off a varietal, or I would never judge a varietal from one tasting experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely true. Good point.
Certainly hope we're going to introduce you to some wines that you'll take home and enjoy. You might not like them as much as us. You might like them more than us. We're certainly going to find some bombs on the show at certain times. But I hope you embrace our opinion as you have with some of the other publications that are out there.
This is going to be the first of many. A lot of shows coming up. A lot of shows coming at you. A lot of that food and wine show. We hope it's exciting and fun and educational is the key. We want to make sure that people are seeing new things. So you're not afraid to try new things. My hope is that when you see us drinking a VIURA on that food and wine show, and we're pairing up with some things that you might eat every day or on occasion, you say, man, it sounds like something that I might be willing to give a try sometime. And we hope we encourage you to do that. So, for that food and wine show, I am Larry.
I'm Chris.
And we will catch you next time on that show.